Hello and welcome to the 6th module of this course. In this module, I will be showing you how to attach a collar to a male CNS garment. In attaching a collar to a male CNS garment, I have the collar cut out here, which is 2 pieces. One is going to be the top collar and the facing is going to be the under collar. Okay, so the first step is to take this to my ironing board and I will be fusing it with a fusible interfacing. So guys, now I have my collar fused, as you can see. So this side is the wrong side. I will be marking the wrong side like so. This is the wrong side and this is the right side. And for this, okay, so this is the wrong side and this is the right side. So this is the top collar and this is the under collar. The top collar is wider than the under collar. The under collar is the facing. I trimmed 1/8 of an inch away from. So now the next step is to construct the collar. In constructing the collar, I will be placing this right side facing the right side like so. This is the neckline area. So this part will be attached to the neckline, while this is the upper part of the collar. So I will place the neckline to align properly like so. Then I will be stitching with 1/2 an inch of seam allowance. So I will stitch from this edge to this edge with 1/2 an inch of seam allowance. Now I have this stitched together and this is what I have after stitching. Can you see what I have? This is the wrong side and this is the right side. So the next step is to top stitch on the under collar. So this is the under collar. I label as F. Okay, so I will move my seam allowance towards the under collar like so. I will give it a press. After giving it a press, then I will be top stitching from this edge, following the shape I have on the neckline, up to the other side of the collar. Okay guys, I've applied a top stitch on the under collar and this is what I have. Can you see? This is the under collar and this is the top collar. Okay, so this is the neckline area and this is the upper part of the neckline. So the next step is to fold this back, right side facing each other, and I will align the edges together like so. I will pin this. I will make sure these edges align properly. So on this side as well, I will make sure the edges align properly. Can you see what I have? Okay, so now I will be taking this to my sewing machine. Then I will be stitching with 1/2 an inch of seam allowance by the side. So this is to close the opening I have by the side. So I will stitch from the upper part of the neckline, which is here. This is the upper part of the neckline and this is the lower part of the neckline. So from the upper part of the neckline, I will start stitching with 1/2 an inch downward, and when I get to the lower part of the neckline, I will not stitch to this edge, but I will stop on 1/2 an inch point. So which means from this edges upward, I will measure 1/2 an inch and I will stop on the 1/2 an inch point. Don't forget, when I was drafting the pattern, I added extra 1 inch to the collar height, which makes it 2 inches. So out of the 1 inch, 1/2 an inch will be for the upper part of the collar and 1/2 an inch for the lower part of the collar. So I've used the 1/2 an inch for the upper part in joining this together. Then the remaining 1/2 an inch will be on the edges of the lower neckline. So I will be taking this to my sewing machine, then I will stitch. After stitching, then I will turn this inside out like so. I will turn it, then I will take it to my ironing board to give it a good press. So which I will have something like this. So the seam I have on the neckline is going to fall on the under collar, which is going to be the inside of the collar, but on the outside of the collar I will be having my top collar, which will give me something like this. Can you see what I have? There is no traces of joining on the collar anymore. So the joining will be on the under collar. So now I will take this to my sewing machine and I will stitch. After stitching, I will turn the inside out and I will give it a good press. Now I'm done with the construction of the collar. I've closed the two sides. As I said, I turned the inside out and I gave it a good press. So this is what I have after giving it a press. So this is the under collar. You can see the stitch I have here, and this is the top collar. So the next step is to attach the collar to the bodies. So this will be attached around the neckline. In attaching the collar to the bodies, firstly I will be notching the center of the collar. So in doing this, I will fold this into half and I will notch the center. Now I have this notched, and the next step is to attach the collar to the bodies. So in attaching the collar to the bodies, I will position the center of the collar to align with the center back of the bodies on the neckline area. Okay, so on my collar I have the under collar and I have the top collar. This is the under collar and this is the top collar. Okay, so I will position the under collar like so, the right side of the under collar facing the wrong side of the bodies. This is the under collar, this is the right side of the under collar. So the right side of the under collar facing the wrong side of the bodies, center to center. The center of the under collar on the center back of the bodies like so. Okay, then I'll pin the center together. So now I have the neckline pinned all around from this edge to this edge. You can see what I have. So the next step is to take this to my sewing machine and I will be stitching with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. I will start stitching from the center back. So I will start from the center back to this edge like so. Then I'll pick it from the center back to this edge as well. Okay, after pinning this together, make sure you confirm what you have left at the center front. Make sure what you have on both sides are equal. What you have here is the same thing as what you have on this side. Okay, if they are not equal, make sure you remove the pins, then adjust your collar positioning in such a way you have the same thing left on both sides. And of course, if you've gotten your measurements right from the onset, definitely you will have everything being accurate. So now I will be taking this to my sewing machine and I will be stitching with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. I will not start stitching from the edge, but I will start from the center back towards the center front. I will pick it from the center back again towards the other side of the center front. So guys, now I have the collar attached to the bodies and this is what I have after attaching. Can you see? So this is the right side of the jacket and this is the right side of the collar. So the next step is to finish this up. So in finishing this up, I will make the seam allowance to face up like so and I will give it a press. So after giving it a press, then I will cover up the seam allowance like so. Then I will fold in the 1/2 inch of the seam allowance I have. I'll fold it inward to cover up this seam. Okay, so I'll position it like so. Can you see what I have? So I'll fold this inward and I'll give it a press in order to stabilize the fabric. Then when I get to this point, which is the point where the collar stops, I will place a notch. So I will place a notch here. So make sure you did not exceed the seam allowance point. So with this, I will be able to finish these parts properly. So I'll fold in my seam allowance properly like so. So this will cover up. So make sure you fold this part neatly. So after this, I will apply an edge stitch, so which means stitching very close to the edges all around the collar like so. I'll start from here. So I will stitch. As I'm stitching, I will be covering up the seam allowance point. Can you see what I have? So I'll go this way until I get to the other side of the collar. So on the other side as well, I will place a notch at the point where the collar stops, which is here. Okay, so I'll place a notch over there and I'll fold in the seam allowance. I'll push in the seam allowance to cover up this part. Then I'll fold this inward as well. Make sure when you are doing this, you do it neatly, okay, because neat finishing is very important. So I'll push this inward with the help of my seam ripper. So I will do this, then I will stitch all around. So guys, now I have the collar finished, as you can see. So this is what I have on the edges. I've closed the edges properly and neatly. Okay, so the next step is to finish the remaining part I have on the placket. You can see what I have here. This is the placket, so this is not finished yet. So in doing this, I will be cutting out a piece of fabrics in order to finish this part. So I have 1.75 here and 1.75 here, so which means I will be cutting out a piece of fabric that is 1.75 in measurement. Now I have a piece of fabric cut out, which I will be using in finishing this part. So I have this. So I took the measurement I have here and I added extra 1 inch to this. Okay, so the extra 1 inch is what I will be using in finishing the two edges. So I will fold in half of an inch inward like so from the 1 inch extra I added. Okay, so I will align the edges of the piece of fabric to align with the edges of the placket like so. So the wrong side of this facing the wrong side of the garment. So when I get to this edge as well, I will fold in half of an inch. Then I'll trim off the excess I have here. When I get to this edge, I'll fold this as well like so. So you can see what I have on the right side and this is the wrong side. So now I will take this to my sewing machine and I will stitch with half of an inch of seam allowance from this edge to this edge. Then after stitching, I will flip this to the right side in order to finish this part just the way I finished the collar. So I'll flip it over like so. Then I'll fold in the edges. So guys, now I have this done. I've finished the opening I have at the center front and this is what I have after finishing. So here is the right side and this is the wrong side. Can you see what I have? Then I will be repeating the same process on the other side. I have a piece of fabric here, so I will position this like so. So the positioning is going to be the right side facing the right side. Okay, right side facing the right side. So I will fold this part inward. Okay, and I'll fold the remaining part also like this. So I will stitch with half of an inch of seam allowance. So after which I'll flip this over. Okay, then I'll finish the edges just the way I have it here. So far so good guys, we are almost done with the construction of our male CNS garment. So here I have two things to attend to, which are construction and attaching of the sleeve and hemming of the lower part, which I will be showing you in the next module.